Hello and welcome, everybody. We are live for an intro to Free Speech Forward, a new podcast series that we're launching. I'm one of the co-hosts, Chris Bush, and I'm joined by my other co-host, Joia Huenica, and we are the co-founders of an organization called 1776 Forward that is sponsoring this new podcast in partnership with the Institute for Liberal Values. So, Joia, great to see you. Welcome. You
Great
want
to see
to,
you, Chris. I'm so glad we're finally getting this started. We're just going to give people a little taste of what they can expect here with the show. Get to know a little bit more about us. As you mentioned, we're the founders of 1776 Forward, an organization that's promoting the cause of philosophical liberalism. And we're producing this show in co-sponsorship with the Institute of Liberal Values, which is promoting a non-sectarian, nonpartisan approach to liberal values and freedom. So why don't you give people an idea of what our show is all about? Because we've definitely been thoughtful in crafting a formatted show where we're going to have essentially the same kinds of questions, 5 questions every single time. So let people know what they can expect.
That's right. And we want to keep it short because we know everyone's inundated with podcasts. So you can expect 15 to 20 minutes max for each episode. And Free Speech Forward is really about a unique behind the scenes perspective of activists and advocates for the critical value of free speech, really learning and hearing their story of how they came to it. So, how we draw that out, we're going to ask the same 5 questions of all of our guests. The first one being kind of their origin story, how they came to advocating free speech. The second one being why they think it matters to both them personally and society at large. The third being more of a behind the scenes kind of insight into their mental process or creative process to preparing for an activism or speech initiative or effort. And then we always like to ask, if resources were no limit, what is the most important initiative they would embark upon to promote free speech? And then lastly, we look for some tips or tools that they can provide listeners on how they can find their voice to stand up and speak out for this value as well. And if there's time, we always jump into some follow-up questions, but otherwise we'll focus on those core 5.
And I found personally the answers have been really fascinating, even just in these first episodes that we've recorded, both seeing the patterns and insights that emerge and then also the points of difference as well. So let's just tell our listeners that if you want to start checking it out, you can hear the first interviews with both Chris and myself. And then also we're going to have some from different representatives of ILV and then more people in the free speech universe. Come on the journey and join us.
Yes, and look out for every other week. We will be releasing a new episode. So we're excited to share our stories and others with you.